I was so fortunate to interview James Nottingham on the Learning Pit and his book Teach Brilliantly and feedback and all sorts of things. And so today I want to look at the Learning Pit graphic that's available on his site for free, but I want to talk you through what he talks about in the book around feedback, specifically as pertains to the Learning Pit. So here we go. Okay, so here we have the Learning Pit. And so we have the beginning where you kind of have the I think I know, right? And so in the think I know, this is really, your first response. You are saying things as the learner, as kind of, here's what I know, here's what the concept is, right? I wonder about this thing. And you as the educator are asking things like, how clear are you about your learning goals? Are there criteria you don't understand? What do you think your first steps might be? What learning strategies will help you start well? Do you have any questions before you begin? From there, as you're kind of uncovering complexity, he talks about, right, you realize it's not as easy as you thought, right? So maybe this is inconsistent because, right, I'm noticing some different examples. One possibility is this, right? Here's what's similar, here's what's different. And so as the educator, you're thinking about, asking those questions to prompt that. Like, what did you find puzzling? What surprised you? Is there another way of doing it? What examples are counter examples can you find? Can you explain the contradictions? And I really love this prompting, right? And so thinking about supporting students going through the learning pit, these questions are so awesome. Okay, now when we're kind of getting to problem clarifying and solving, as the learner, you want the learner to get to things like, I made these connections. I thought about designing this. I did this to help clarify. I judged that this was the best because, or working backwards, I found from where I wanted to go, this is what I needed. So again, as the educator, think about the questions that you could support. What problem solving strategy would help you right now? Would it be better if ... right? Could you clarify your next steps? What connections have you made? So again, you're just kind of asking what you want the students to say in their sentence stem as a question. And then finally, answering and adapting, right? You want the student to get to the point as kind of reflective, right? The strategy I used was, this is how things changed. I would adjust next time I would, here's where I could transfer this into. And so as an educator, you're really asking, what was the best strategy that you used to help you climb out the pit? What would you do differently next time? How can you help others climb out of the pit? Can you demonstrate your new understanding in a new context now? So think about all of these. I think as you are designing, and I will certainly think about them as I'm designing learning experiences, right? We want to get through this, but what's the thing we want learners to say? And what are the questions that we want to ask to elicit that and support this idea of what do we want students to be thinking about and reflecting on, and how do we get them there via questions as an educator? Thank you to James Nottingham. That visual of the Learning Pit, along with several others, are available for free on his website. Be sure to check it out. Use it in your classroom. Introduce it to students. And think about all of the things that we talked about today. There's so much more detail and many more examples in the book. So go ahead and grab that. We'll link it in the description. That's Think Brilliantly by James Nottingham.